Hey, I'm Coach Kozak from HASfit, and this is my foam roller routine. With the foam roller today, we're going to do a myofascial release technique. Now, we're traditional static stretching where you stretch and you hold a certain position for 45 to 60 seconds. What that'll do is lengthen a muscle, but myofascial will lengthen the muscle as well as break down knots, soft tissue adhesions, and scar tissue. So it is my favorite recovery method. The best way to think about it, I'm going to do a little demonstration with this rubber band. So if I were to make a big knot and say this is your muscle, and I were to make a knot with this rubber band. If you do static stretching where you just hold a certain position, all you're really going to do is stretch, but you're still going to, and lengthen, but you're still going to have that knot there. Where when you do the myofascial technique with the foam roller, you will literally get rid of and work out the knot. So when you're picking out a foam roller, the density is something you want to keep in mind with your foam roller. You don't want a foam roller that's too soft that when you squeeze it, it just totally compromises, because then it's not going to do you any good. But you also don't want one that's rock hard. So I would recommend one that's a little bit in between, one that gives somewhat but isn't completely rock solid. If you don't have a foam roller, these are available at sporting goods stores and online. I think it's a worthwhile investment. You're not going to get the results overnight with it, but over time you're going to feel a lot looser and you're going to notice you're recovering a lot faster. If you don't have one, go ahead and click the link in the video description, and it'll send you to HASfit's website where you can buy one at a reasonable cost. Okay, I'm going to show you how to use one of these things. We're going to get your whole body loosened up, and I promise you're going to feel better by the end of this. All right, let's get started. Okay, I like to start with the calves. We're going to start with your calves, and then we're going to work down your entire posterior or your backside, and then we're going to hit your anterior and your front muscles. So start with your calves. We're going to put our legs out straight in front of us. We're going to start at your Achilles, so all the way down by your ankle. And this one requires a little bit more upper body strength than some of the other ones. It's probably one of the hardest ones on your upper body, just because you do have to kind of pick yourself up and wheel yourself back and forth. So keeping just a tiny bend in your knee, but for the most part keeping your legs straight. We're going to walk forward all the way until you get back behind the knee, and then all the way again to the Achilles. Now we're going to walk back and forth about 8 times, and when you do so, you're going to run across particular parts that are tight, or maybe little knots, or also called trigger points. And when you find those, it's okay to put extra pressure and stop on them, and then you can work out little individual points as you go. So for the most part, you want to stick with full range of motion movements until you run into a particular trigger point, and then in which case, go ahead and work out that individual spot. So next, we're going to stay on your calves, but we're going to point out on your toes, and we're going to hit a little bit different spot on your calves. So now let's go back and forth with your toes pointed out. Again, just going back and forth several times. Anytime you run into a particular trigger point, go ahead and work it out. Now the first time you go ahead and go through this routine, it's going to hurt. And it's going to hurt more than it will the second time. Every time you do it, it's going to hurt a little bit less. Okay, next, we're going to hit you one more set on the calves. Point your toes in. Back and forth all the way, full range of motion. Hit your inner calves now. Now, if you're not feeling this one enough, you can do one limb at a time. Pick up one leg and do what's called stacking, and you'll really get extra tension on that one calf. But if this is your first time doing it, for the most part, just doing it both at the same time is going to work great. Okay, next we're going to do your hamstrings, starting back behind the knee again. Now we're going to go from back behind the knee up until right where your buttocks and your glutes start. So hitting the entire hamstring. Now everybody's different, and everybody's going to be tight in different spots. So just because you don't see me working out a particular spot Doesn't mean that you shouldn't be. If you feel tightness somewhere in your hamstrings, feel free to work out that spot. Otherwise, just do full range of motion all the way from the back of the knee to the bottom of the glutes. Good, full range. Again, going back and forth about 8 times. And if you want a little extra tension, you can use that stacking routine one leg at a time. Good, full range. Okay, good. Next, we're going to move on to your gluteus maximus, so the big butt muscle. You're going to sit right on the foam roller. There's another reason why you want one that's a little more dense, because otherwise it would just be caving in on you. And we're just going to do your full butt all the way up from the tailbone, all the way down to the bottom of the glute. And so this one, you're going to have about 6 to 8 inches range of motion. Walking back, using your feet, hands for stability. And good, full range of motion. Like I said, we're going to do about 8 times. And one last time. Good. Okay, next. Now, when it comes to your back, we're going to divide your back into 2 halves. So first we're going to do your lower back, and then we're going to do your upper back. So we're going to move from your tailbone to the middle of your back. And when we do your lower back, you're going to place your hands on your chest. And you're going to keep your upper body on a 45-degree angle. So of course a little bit of ab strength as well. And when we're doing this one, we're walking back with our feet from the middle of the back, walking up to that tailbone. And again, you're going to experience different levels of pain throughout the different movements based upon where you are the tightest. Good. All the way to the tailbone, keep your abs tight and lean forward. Don't lean back on this one. Keep that 45-degree angle. Maybe more like 30 to 45. Good, just a couple more. And last one. Good. Okay, next we're going to do that upper back. Now on the upper back, we're actually going to lie back flat, and we're going to try to keep our body as flat like a board or like a table. We're going to put our hands behind our head. We're going to start in the middle of the back, and then we're going to work all the way up onto our traps and even onto our neck. Okay, so my hands are behind my head, and on this one, coming all the way again up onto my neck and my traps, and walk with my feet to the middle of my back, and walking back. Good. And again, notice how I'm keeping my upper body straight and flat and parallel to the ground. I'm keeping my head back. I'm not lifting my head up as I do it. Nice full range of motion. Again, any spot in particular you're feeling pain, go ahead and stop for a moment on that spot or that trigger point and put extra pressure on it. Good. Full range. Give me a couple more. And last one. Good. All right. Next, we're going to flip over. We're going to do your anterior now, your front side. We're going to do your soleus, or your the muscle in front and on your calf or your lower leg. It's right here. So we're not going to be on the shin bone itself, but we're going to, as we're doing this one, we're going to point our toes in so that we hit this muscle here. So this is another one that's going to require a little bit of upper body and a little bit of ab strength just to get through it. So on our forearms, pointing our toes in, that's the key, because we're not trying to get our shin bones, right? Okay, so we're walking all the way from the bottom of the foot up into the knee. Walking back and forth on our forearms, keep your body straight. And this one is a great one to work out if you're experiencing shin splints. Great one for runners, athletes alike, or just anybody that's been working out hard. Good, just a couple more. And last one. All right, good. Now moving on down the line, we're going to do our quads. We're going to start in the first position with just our toes pointed straight down to the floor. We're going to do basically that same walking back and forth movement, starting just above the knee. And all the way, started a little too far, all the way, full range of motion. All the way up the quad to the top of the knee. And this one isn't quite as bad as far as upper body strength is concerned. Keep those toes pointed straight to the floor. Great job, keep it up, a few more. And this is often a big sensitive one for people, so you may be experiencing pain on this one. That's okay, that's expected. It's like getting a deep tissue massage. Okay, good. Now, we're going to point your toes outward. And what that's going to do, that's going to open up our legs a little bit, and we'll be able to get this vastus medialis over the knee, a little bit of inner thigh. So both toes pointed outward in same motion, but just able to hit a different spot of the quad now on this one. Again, back and forth around 8 times. Any spot in particular that's hard, that hurts right here, that's for me, this one's hurting. So I'm going to work that spot out, and then I'll continue. Good job. Fight through that uncomfortable feeling, and at the end of the day, you're going to be a better person for it. You'll recover faster, less chance of injury. Couple more. Good. Okay, next, we're going to move on to your adductors. So again, now we're going to really hit the inner part of your leg, in your groin muscle. So on this one, the important part is to put your foam roller on an angle. So I'm going to do this one straight on so you get a little better view. So now I've angled my foam roller. I'm going to put one leg out. This one we're going to have to do one leg at a time. I'm going to put it on the inside here, and walking up to the knee and back to the groin. Walking up to the knee and up to the groin. Good. Again, working this one out about 8 times. All the way up to the knee. Keep that leg opened up. And now we're going to angle it the other way and do your opposite leg. All the way to the groin, keep that leg opened up. This one's sore on me, I must need it. This one's a great one to loosen up your inner thighs and your groin and help prevent groin pulls. Good, just a couple more. And break. Okay. The next one we're going to do is for your IT bands, or also known as your iliotibial bands. This is probably, in my opinion, the most important one. If you're working out hard, if you're an athlete, if you're doing a lot of jumping, a lot of running, whatever it may be, your IT bands are getting used and abused all day long. Your IT bands connect up here by your hip flexor and run all the way down and connect on the outside of your knee. A lot of times people experience knee pain and they think that there's something wrong with their knees. So if you experience a knee pain right here, a lot of times that's not really your knee pain, that's your iliotibial band being really tight. And so you're getting the pain in your knee, and it can be deceiving at times. So it's really important to loosen this one up. Now, this is probably the most difficult one to hit as well as being the most painful. So we're going to put your bottom leg, or your inside leg, down, stepping over, and this leg that's stepping over, this is going to really help us out because we're going to walk with this leg. So now I want you to come forward on an angle, because we don't want to be straight here, and we don't want to be totally all the way forward like we did in the quads. It's kind of in between, so we're kind of getting our body angle forward. We're going to start up at the hip flexor, up to the top of our hip bone, and we're going to walk all the way down to the knee. So I want you to get that entire ligament all the way up, all the way down. Good. Full range of motion. all the way to the knee. And this is usually the most painful one for people. So if you're hurting on this one, you are certainly not alone. Even mine get tight. Sometimes that's just a sign that you've been working your butt off. Good, full range. Couple more times. Again, on this one, any particular spot that's tight, don't hesitate to work it out. And you'll see I kind of move around. It's okay to have to take a second and readjust your positioning on this. It's not a perfect science. Good, a couple more on this side. Okay, good. Now, switch. Gotta hit them both. One is not good enough, unfortunately. This one I recommend you do frequently. Foam rollers best before, and you do foam roller before and after activity. Unlike static stretching that I only recommend you do after, I recommend you do your foam roller before and after. And this is, not an exciting part of training or working out. So people often skip this, but in the long run, you're going to recover faster. Your body's going to love you for it, and you'll get more done. Definitely don't skip your foam roller treatment. Full range of motion. Again, I'm using my opposite leg to help walk. Just a couple more. And last one. Okay, good. Next, we're going to do your gluteus medius before we do your gluteus maximus, which is your big main butt muscle. But now we're going to do your medius, which is up here. There's not a large muscle, just up in the upper corner of your glute. Now, this is really important to hit for a couple of reasons. Main one, besides the fact that it gets tight on its own, is the main one is because your piriformis is here, and this is where your sciatic nerve runs through. So if you have sciatic nerve pain, a lot of times it's because everything is really tight up in here. All the nerves are all bunched up, one big knot and ball, and that nerve can't function and can't breathe. So by loosening this up, a lot of times that'll really help if you have a sciatic nerve problem. So we're gonna get in that same position where we put one leg out that we just did, and now we're gonna kind of lean back a little bit, and it's not a big range of motion, not like the last ones where we were doing a big full range. This one we're literally gonna walk, or I should say roll back, about maybe 2-inch range of motion. Just in that top glute, and you're sitting back in that top corner, and if you're hitting it right, you will feel a little bit of discomfort, trust me. Sitting back, and just back and forth slowly. And again, not a lot of range of motion on this one. It's just about 1 inch or 2 back and forth, depending on how large you are. All right, good. Next one. Again, that same position, one leg is out, opposite leg is over. But now instead we're going to lean back, and we're just on the upper corner of that glute, upper outside. Good. Get right where it feels tight. As a rule of thumb with the foam roller, the more it hurts, the more you're doing it right. Unfortunately. Not true with everything, but with the foam roller, it usually is. Sitting back. Good. Again, not a lot of range of motion. Just a couple inches back and forth. And you can see a lot of people skip this. It hurts and it's not exciting, but it's definitely necessary. Good. And last one. Excellent. Okay. Next, we're going to do your lats, which we didn't get quite hit all the way in the upper back, which is here under your arms. So for this one, we're going to lie out flat. You're going to put one arm out in front. You're going to have your head up. And on this one, we're going to walk from your armpit to the middle of your back, middle of your side. And we're just going to walk forward and back. Again, same foot over principle. This will help you walk. Get that walk in. Good. Just back and forth about 8 times.
Probably about 6 inches range of motion on this one. Very good. Using your hand too to help you move. And one more. Good. Now staying on this side, we're going to go right into your tricep. So now, same side, you go ahead and put your head down. We'll give you a little extra tension or resistance on the back of your arm. Putting your arm out straight. We're going to go from your underarm up until back behind your knee. So walking back here. Might look funny, that's okay. We're not trying to look cool. Keeping your palm forward, hitting the back of your arm and your tricep. Come all the way up to that elbow and all the way back. Good. Okay, next one on this same side. We're going to get all of them done on this side, we're going to switch. Next one on this side, we're going to do your pec and your anterior delt, the front of your shoulder here. So your chest muscle and your delt. You can put one arm out straight. Get in this plank position. We're going to angle this. One arm out. And we're going back and forth. Good. Hitting that full chest muscle. Keep the angle on your foam roller. Might have to adjust it a couple times. All the way into the chest and back. Good. Again, about 8 times. Any particular spot you need to work on, feel free to put extra tension on it. All right, good. Okay, next, flipping sides. You gotta do your other lat now. One arm out straight. And opposite leg is out to help you walk from underneath the arm to the middle of your back. Good. About 6 inches range of motion on this one total. And just walking back and forth, getting that lat muscle. This one's particularly sore on me. If you see I'm grimacing, it's because I really am doing this. Did a bunch of pull-ups yesterday and they're kicking in. Good. One more. Excellent. Next, you're going to do a tricep on this side. Same movement, but we're a little further down the arm. Arm is out. Putting your head on top of your tricep, or on top of your arm, and all the way from the underarm to elbow. Good, full range of motion. About 8 times. Just a couple more. And last one. Good. Next one. Our last one, I should say. Now we just have to hit your pec and your anterior delt on this side again. Angling your foam roller, really important. Get it on the right angle. Oop, I had it on the wrong. Here it is. Pointing in, it should be. And up onto the chest and anterior delt. Good. About another 6 inches range of motion on this one. Just a couple more. Fight through that pain. 2, 1, and 0. All right, and we're all done with the routine. All right, excellent work. Way to get down to the end with me here. I recommend you do a foam roller routine on yourself anywhere from 1 to 6 times per week, depending on how intense your workout regimen is. If you're an athlete or if you're just a novice fitness trainee, that'll kind of play a role as far as your frequency. But the one common denominator is you should be doing a foam roller routine on yourself regularly, at least weekly. You will thank yourself for it. If you like this workout routine, make sure you check out HASfit's website for hundreds of additional free workouts. We have our free meal plans to lose or gain weight, as well as our complete 30 to 90 day fitness programs. Please do me a favor and subscribe to this YouTube channel so we can help keep this great service free.
Like us on our Facebook fan page for the best daily motivation. And while you're at it, stop by our store, pick up a t-shirt or poster, anything to support our cause and help keep you motivated. I'm Coach Kozak from HASfit, and I'll see you at your next workout.